The next one is a trend called the quantified self. How many people in here have trackers or do tracking of how many steps they take and all of that kind of stuff? Yeah, a few? Okay. So this is a really, really huge trend in terms of people wanting more information and more feedback about what's happening. Because there's a number of reasons why people track. Some people track because they just want to know if they're meeting their goals. They just want to know if they're meeting their goals. Some do it because it's a competitive thing. They actually compete with other people. They compete with themselves, or they compete with friends to find out who can walk the most, or who can work out the hardest, or whatever the case may be. But this is now moving to the quantified employee. Now this is a tricky subject because it can sound very Big Brother-like. This isn't about the organization tracking individuals. It's about individuals tracking themselves. When we looked at some of the research, there are a lot of people out there who are saying the millennials are driving business to be different than it is today. The millennials want more purpose in their work. The millennials want this. The millennials want that. So they did some research to find out, is that really what's happening? Is it the millennials who want these things? And they said, no, everybody wants these things. Everybody wants more purpose in their work. Everybody wants to, all of these different things that the millennials are being told. But the one thing that they found that millennials were different is feedback. They wanted more feedback. You'll notice that there's a lot of buzz right now in HR about getting rid of performance reviews, annual performance reviews, and moving to more frequent performance reviews. And that's one of the drivers. They want feedback. They want feedback. And it made me wonder if part of the reason why they want feedback is because they grew up in a gaming culture. And they grew up on gaming. And and when you think about a video game, what do you think of? It's not just the competitive aspects, it's the feedback. You're constantly getting feedback. Are you going in the right direction? You're moving, you're progressing, you're getting points. Sometimes it gives you a really good thing that you can compare yourself to others so you know where you fit. How many of us go to work every day and we have no idea whether or not we're progressing and how we are doing compared to our peers? We really don't know. And people are craving that information. So that's why gamification is becoming very interesting in the workplace, and people are looking more at gamification because it provides that really interesting feedback. The unfortunate thing about gamification is its name. And its name it makes it sound like you're going to work to play a game, like this is going to be fun. That's not what game mechanics are. Game mechanics are using some very simple techniques to help people figure out how they're progressing, in this case in a game, but in your case in their career. So gamification is a very important concept, and I think the name of it is going to change because it's putting too many people off, that it's sounding like fun. But the millennials really like, not the aspect of it's fun, but it's interesting to me that so many people object to the fact that work could be fun. Like, is that such a crazy idea that you would enjoy your work? But in some circles it is. It's like, what do you mean fun? Why are you having fun? Why not? But it gives also the feedback and the ability to understand what you're doing. So I don't think that gamification will ever replace human feedback. I think that's the most important thing. But maybe you don't have to give it as often if you are able to use these kinds of techniques. And it was interesting because giving people information is just an important aspect. And one of the things we did at Jive, so Jive, we had a particular situation with communications, for example. And people from internal communications were saying, we want to know who read documents, we want to know whether they liked them, we wanted to know how many comments there were, we wanted to know all of these things. And so, of course, as a vendor, we said, yeah, okay, we'll put that feature in. But instead of putting that feature in so that only internal communications could see it, we put it in so any author of content can see it, because everybody wants the feedback. So feedback, feedback, feedback. So when you're thinking about things, that's one thing to think of, the quantified self, the quantified employee feedback.